My name is Walter Hoy, president and founder of the Issues for Life Foundation. With you is my wife, Lori. Next to me is Mary Flores of American Life Leads Culture of Life Studies program. Behind me is Brian Walker of Everlasting Life Ministries. Chris Slattery, founder and director of EMC's Frontline Pregnancy Care Centers. And right behind me is Dr. Leonard Childress, National Director of the Life Education and Resource Network. In 1916, almost exactly 100 years ago, Margaret Sanger opened her first birth control clinic in New York City. Margaret Sanger was the founder of Planned Parenthood, and today she is hailed as a hero for women's health care and so-called reproductive rights. In fact, this building where we're standing in front of is one of Planned Parenthood's first birth control clinics. It was used by Margaret Sanger since the 1930s and was named a National Historic Landmark in the 1990s. So who was this woman? Who was the real Margaret Sanger?
Working in the slums of New York in the early 1900s, Margaret Sanger witnessed abject poverty. Her solution was to eliminate people rather than the problems they face. Let's look at what she wrote about large families.
The most merciful thing that the large family does to one of its infant members is to kill it.
Margaret Sanger, from Woman and the New Race, 1920.
Margaret Sanger was a firm believer in the false science of eugenics, a twisted ideology that said only certain people from certain ethnic, political, or economic backgrounds should be allowed to have children. She wanted the government to decide who can and can't have children.
No woman shall have the legal right to bear a child, and no man shall have the right to become a father without a permit.
Margaret Sanger, From America Needs a Code for Babies, published in 1934.
For Margaret Sanger, birth control and sterilization were only the beginning of her plan to eliminate people that she decided were unworthy of life.
While I personally believe in the sterilization of the feeble-minded, the insane, and the syphilitic, I have not been able to discover that these measures are more than superficial deterrents when applied to the constantly growing stream of the unfit. Margaret Sanger, Birth Control and Racial Betterment, The Birth Control Review, February 1919.
In 1939, Margaret Sanger began her campaign to target the black population specifically. First, it was birth control. Now, it's abortion. In fact, more black babies are aborted in this city than are born alive. To me, it's unthinkable that we should preserve this building in Margaret Sanger's honor. But many Americans have no idea what Margaret Sanger wrote and believed. It's time to wake up.
With Planned Parenthood taking the lives of over 700 children every day in this country, we need to do something to stop the violence against innocent children, against women, and against families. We need to educate those who are being most targeted with this violence. Who Was the Real Margaret Sanger is a brand new unit study from American Life League's Culture of Life Studies program. Using an engaging combination of video and discussion, this important educational tool exposes Margaret Sanger's ideology and the racist roots of today's Planned Parenthood.
We need this type of education in our schools, in our churches, and in our homes. If we don't do something now, Margaret Sanger's ideas won't be stopped. Visit sangervideo.com to learn how you can bring this important unit study into your local community. It is only by working together that we can end the violence against preborn babies.